What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Split Decisions. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Justin.
And we're here to break down UFC Fight Night, Burns versus Brady, taking place at the UFC Apex. Decent card. We have been on a little bit of a layoff.
A little 2-week break.
A little 2-week break, so it's good to get back to some fights. Excited to break down the card for y'all. Please, before we get into the card, go hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment on the video.
Press the video.
Yeah, press that like button for us. And I'm going to let Justin get in that first fight for y'all.
All right, so the first fight on this Vegas 97 card is Nathan Fletcher versus Zygamantos?
Zygamantos.
So both of these guys were on The Ultimate Fighter, but got hurt, so they didn't get a chance to fight for the finals. Nathan Fletcher is 8-1, making his UFC debut. They were supposed to fight last week, but that fight was canceled very last minute after weigh-ins because Nathan Fletcher, apparently it was a medical issue.
They didn't even say what it was.
Yeah, which still worries me.
Right.
But, he's fighting out of Liverpool. He does train with like Paddy and Molly and them, well-rounded fighter, but he prefers to get the fight to the ground if he can. He throws straight punches and he is pretty good at closing the distance and getting his hands on you. He's fighting Ramaska, who is 9-2, also making his UFC debut. He has super fast hands with heavy pressure and volume, likes to press forward and overload you with strikes. With 5 knockouts and 4 subs, he's really well-rounded, looks for finishes constantly. He does seem chinny, even though he's only been knocked out once. There were multiple fights where he just got rocked, and he managed to stay in there. So this one is tricky because we just mentioned the whole weight cut thing, and we don't know if he got sick because of that, Nathan Fletcher, or anything. But I did pick Nathan Fletcher a couple weeks ago and had him in a parlay that I ended up hitting, but his leg got voided. So I'm still going to ride with Nathan Fletcher in this. I'm going to say by sub, but I could see just a hard fight decision. What do you think?
They don't got no lines out for this fight
No,
yet, do they?
Still nothing. He was like
about minus 170 or something.
Yeah,
I believe it's thinned up a little bit. Yeah, Nathan Fletcher's going to want to get some grappling going. Obviously, pretty much a standard grappler versus striker matchup here. Zygamantos is dangerous on the feet. Does have a lot of KOs on his record. Like you said, Nathan Fletcher, kind of a pressure fighter. He's going to want to walk forward. He's going to want to get a hold of you, wants to take you to the ground, get that grappling off. 6 of his 8 wins do come by sub. Yeah. So obviously that's his bag. The medical issue and obviously is a red flag, but he should be able to, implement his game. I think both of them actually had some type of medical issue. Both of them was rumored to have some type of staph infection or something.
Oh, damn.
Before the fight.
Oh, yeah, because they did leak a picture, zoomed in on his.
Yeah. So honestly, both of them might have had something going on. Yeah. Zygamantos is definitely, I think, going to be the better striker.
Right.
If Nathan can't get this fight to the ground, I think he's going to be in trouble on the feet. Zygamantos can get taken down, but I've seen him work back up. So kind of a hard one to call. They're giving decent dog money on Zygamantos, and he is a natural lightweight fighter. Yeah. And Nathan Fletcher actually fights at a weight class below this. I believe he fights at bantamweight naturally. Yeah. So Zygamantos is going to be the bigger guy. And I'm going to jump off a limb. I think I'm going to take the dog in this one. We're going to start off with a split decision. Okay. And I'm going to go Zygamantos for Ramaska. Nathan Fletcher is tough. I could just see him outpointing him on the feet, stopping the takedowns, and ultimately winning a decision.
All right.
So this next fight, we got Andrade Petroski versus Dylan Budka. Andrade Petroski, like we've seen against Josh Frim, just great wrestling, good top control. Suspect cardio, but definitely. Super labored striking. Not the best striker. Definitely fades later in the fight. Against Dylan Budka, 0-1 in the UFC. Just wants to do the same thing, get some wrestling going. Yeah. Shoot double legs, shoot single legs. Completely gassed himself in his last fight trying to wrestle Cesar Almeida.
Going too hard.
Got finished in that second round. Honestly, I don't think Dylan Budka is a UFC level fighter. But
I think they signed him all to a 3-fight contract now when they come in. So he's probably got, this is just a throw into someone, you know.
Yeah, I think they want to see an exciting finish from Andre Petroski here. The line minus 340, kind of juiced. I don't love the line, but I do think he should be better in every aspect.
I think down a little bit now. It's 280 now. So it's like,
people might like that dog money on Budka just because that line is a little bit out of hand. But I do think Andre Petroski is going to be the better striker, more powerful striker. I definitely think he's the better wrestler, the better jiu-jitsu player. I think he's just have him covered everywhere. So I could see him potentially getting a finish, second or third round finish, or just grinding him out and winning a boring, wrestling control type of decision. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Petroski is 6-2 in the UFC, so he's got way more experience than 0-1 Budka. Petroski is a wrestling heavy fighter, big power in his hands. His chin is suspect. He knocked himself out in the first round on Jacob Malkoon's hip, so it's like that chin is definitely a little suspect.
That shit was nuts.
Cardio suspect. He's got a good solid, probably 8 minutes of cardio, and then that last 7 minutes of that fight he's struggling, and that just, even with him struggling, he still manages to hold on. Like against Gerald Mearshart, he had a sluggish third round that he ended up winning that fight.
Facts.
Like Pat said, Budka is also a grappler. He's more of a run right through you, try to blast a big double leg type of fighter. His striking is definitely lackluster. He just comes forward throwing big ass hooks trying to get to those legs. So picking this one is definitely iffy. Andre is definitely the more well-rounded fighter with more experience. Fights out of a better gym, has better sparring partners, but this man knocked himself out, so it's always risky picking Andre Petroski. So I am going to pick him for the sake of the show. I'm not going to bet it at all. I don't even think him as a minus 180 is valuable, just because you never know with this man, especially if he can't get Budka out of there, and Budka has better cardio. You don't know what could happen in that third round. So the pick is going to be Petroski, but I am not betting it. So the next fight on the card is Jaqueline Amorim versus Vanessa Demopoulos. And let me find that real quick. Move the fight order around. There we go. So Jaqueline is 8-1, 2-1 in the UFC. She's an insanely good grappler. She's a multiple-time world champ in BJJ, no gi and gi. She's good at getting takedowns. Has a pretty decent hands on her too. She's got power behind her punches, but the technique could be better. She likes to put that volume out there, then blast the double when you least expect it. She can submit you, or she can ground and pound you. She can get a finish. Vanessa on the other side is 11-5, 5-2 in the UFC. Really tough grappler. She is very good heart. She's just doesn't give up on herself. Even when she's getting her ass beat, she's still hanging in there. She has decent hands and with good volume. She moves around well. She's slick with her submissions too. Even when you think she's getting her ass beat, she's still trying to throw up triangles and arm bars. She's had close fights in her last 5 fights, all of them being decisions and 2 of them being split. So I could see her kind of hanging in here trying to grind this one out. But I'm not going to waste time breaking this one down. Vanessa's tough. She does have more experience, but Jaqueline is just, I think, way more dangerous. And she's, younger. She's in there. She's trying to work her way up. So I'm going to ride with Jaqueline Amorim, probably by decision, but I could see a sub because she's so nasty with her grappling. What do you think?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said as well. That line is kind of out of hand though. Minus 340 on Insane. Jaqueline. Is 2-1 in the UFC, and has looked pretty dominant in her wins. With that grappling, does have super dangerous BJJ, dominant top game when she gets on top or has her way in the grappling. It's hard to get away from it. Stupid sub bag from the bottom. We've seen that nasty arm bar against Corey McKenna.
Quick.
She actually had to tap her twice. The ref stopped that fight, and she had to submit her twice in one fight. crazy sweeps and transitions. So if this fight does end up playing out on the ground, I definitely see her having her way in those situations. Decent wrestling, but a lot of times when she doesn't get an entry on the wrestling, she likes to jump back and pull guard to get girls to the ground, which could works out in her favor sometimes, but could be dangerous. She did fatigue late against Sam Hughes.
Yeah.
But had her way in that first round. But Sam Hughes is kind of known for just breaking girls with that cardio.
Yeah.
Demopoulos in her last 3 fights or her last 3 wins all cashed as an underdog. One is a plus 280 against Emily Ducote. She cashed as a plus 250 against Kanako Marotte. She cashed as a plus 190 against Jinu Frey. So I mean, constantly getting undervalued by Vegas. Big for the weight class, physical, no defense on the feet at all. She gets hit on the feet, but she does have power in her hands and she can touch you. Like you said, she's active off her back, but I don't think Jaqueline's going to have any type of problems if it goes to the ground, because she's definitely the better jiu-jitsu player. Demopoulos just kind of spams overhands on the feet, but she can give girls trouble. If this stays on the feet, Demopoulos, I think, is live here. At plus 250. I am gonna pick Jaqueline Amorim to win the fight. Just think she's probably got it covered in the grappling, and I do see it going there. But I wouldn't sleep on a Demopoulos plus money dog play. But yeah, my pick is gonna be Amorim. Vanessa never been subbed, so I'm gonna say by decision, just like a control type of decision. Yeah, that's gonna be my official pick, Jaqueline Amorim by decision. All right, next fight we got Gabriel Santos versus Yizha. Let me find my notes because they like changing up that damn order on us. Gabriel Santos sitting at minus 245 favorite. He's 0-2 in the UFC, but solid competition.
Yeah.
Actually lost a split decision to Lerone Murphy, who's a ranked fighter. And he won the first round against David Onama before getting finished in that second. Actually was looking really good in that fight. Hit Onama with some crazy, like a spinning back fist on the feet. Showed some good get up game when he was taken down. Showed good subs off his back. Actually had Onama in like a dangerous arm bar there for a minute. Good solid striking. Uses all of his weapons well. Legs, kicks, knees. Just super dangerous striker on the feet. Yizha 0-1 in the UFC, coming off the road to UFC. He actually lost to Jiang Yong Lee by split decision his last time he fought in the UFC. I don't know if that was just like a road to UFC final or what that was, but he does have one UFC fight. And one judge actually gave him every single round in that fight, which was odd because he still lost. But does have dangerous grappling and a sub bag himself. So I definitely see him trying to take this fight to the ground. But Gabriel Santos has showed that he's dangerous off his back if it does go there, and has showed decent get up game, just kind of scooting back and using the cage to help him get up. So yeah, I think Gabriel Santos is going to get his first UFC win in this fight. I won't say by finish. I think Yizha is tough and can last. So give me Gabriel Santos by decision. What do you think?
Yeah. Like Pat was saying, Gabriel Santos is tough. He's real well-rounded. He has power in his hands, and he's equally as dangerous on the ground, too. He's a pressure-style fighter for sure, who likes to just move forward. And his striking is to set up his takedowns because he's so nasty with his subs and his pressure game. Yizha on the other side, also a real good grappler, heavy hands, decent striking. He's really hard hitting, heavy kicks. He likes to use it to like keep you at range. He's really strong, has good clinch work. Not the best ground control, but he does look for a finish when he gets you down. It's just always hard to judge these like Asian fighters off the regional scene just because you don't know the level of talent. There are some hidden gems in there like Tatsuro Taira and fighters like that, but it's like we don't know until we see them against fighters from America or from Brazil, or like fighters that have been in the UFC.
A lot of them will have a lot of fights too, but it's just like, who are these guys that they're fighting?
29 fights at 27 years old is wild,
right?
You know, and it's like there's got to be a lot of cans mixed in there. People that don't have really any business fighting. Their record is fucking 2-40, but they're just, you know, fighting this kid on the come up. So yeah, this one's a coin flip, honestly, to me, because they're both wrestlers and grapplers by choice. They both have finishes. Both of them want to fight the same way. So my pick is just going to be based off the experience level as far as like UFC experience and like quality of experience. And it's going to be Gabriel Santos also. I'm going to say by decision, because I really think Yizha is going to do whatever he can to like stay in this fight, and he's going to be constantly trying to, you know, grab submissions to like get out of positions and constant scrambles. It's going to be one of those fights, but I could also see Gabriel Santos snatching a neck somewhere in one of those scrambles. So give me Gabriel Santos by decision.
It kind of seemed like a get right spot too, like, you know, the UFC kind of doing him a favor. Like, look, we done gave you Lerone Murphy, a dog. We done gave you David Onama.
Yeah.
You know, we gonna give you a fight.
I mean, this kid, it's not a complete layup.
Not a layup for sure, but definitely lower competition than what he's been handed the last two fights. But yeah, we both on the same side there.
So the next fight is Andrade Lima versus Felipe dos Santos. Andre is 9-0, 2-0 in the UFC. He's a very well-rounded fighter with good fast hands. He has a decent grappling game, but doesn't like to use it. He would much rather just stand and bang for 3 rounds. He won his last fight by split decision, but he was a minus 300 favorite. He also missed weight by 4 pounds in that fight. He is a striker, but doesn't do well when he's pressured. He has to be the one. My bad. I completely lost my notes there. Train of thought. He doesn't do well when he's pressured and has to be the one that's putting someone on the back foot. Felipe is 8-1, 1-1 in the UFC. He's pretty much a flyweight version of Charles Oliveira, which is, you know, he trains with Charles, so that's probably why. He's a tough striker with a slick submission game. He has good pressure and keeps coming forward the whole fight. With 2 knockouts, 3 subs, 3 decisions. He's definitely a finisher. Like he can take the fight anywhere it needs to go. His only loss was to Manel Kopp in his debut, and Felipe made that a war. Like it wasn't. Everybody thought Manel was just going to get him out of there. It's just somebody to look good, and Felipe, you know, brought the fight to him. So my pick is going to be Felipe dos Santos. I'm going to say by sub, but I could see a decision because Andre Lima's tough. What do you think?
Oh, man. See, when I first broke down this fight, I did like the Felipe dos Santos side as well. But the more I looked into it, Lima, like you said, he does definitely struggle with people just kind of walking forward. He is kind of low volume and super patient. In this fight, doesn't throw a lot of volume at all. Like, I'm looking at his striking numbers in that Severino fight. Before the finish, he threw 30 strikes. In that full 3-round fight against Mitch Raposo, only 51 strikes. Literally chomped him up with leg kicks. Really barely threw any hands at all. Felipe dos Santos definitely going to be more active, throwing more volume in this fight. I don't think he's going to be able to get any type of grappling going on Lima because, like you said, Lima does have some decent grappling himself. He kind of uses it just to get up and get his striking going. I think Lima's going to be the more technical striker of the two and be able to find his shots. I could really see this fight just being like a moment versus a minute type fight. Like I do see Felipe probably winning the minutes. Like more volume, probably just doing more in the judge's eyes, but he just leaves himself open to get countered.
Yeah.
He's very hittable, like we seen in that Manel Kopp fight. Andre Lima obviously is not Manel Kopp, but
no, Manel's way faster.
Felipe was getting touched up in that fight. He did win the last round, so he shows he's got a chin, durable as hell. But I'm gonna go with Andre Lima. I feel like the bigger guy, more physical guy. He's gonna chomp at those legs. He got super chomping leg kicks, powerful leg kicks. The only thing that does kind of worry me is just his patience. Just sometimes he just doesn't do enough. He sits and he waits for that shot, kind of like a Cheeto Vera. Like he just wants to sit back and find them solid counters. He does got good elbows, but I just see him landing the bigger shots in this fight. So let's go with another split decision. I'm gonna go with Andre Lima. You're getting a great line on Dos Santos right now because this open pick'ems.
Yeah.
He's plus 145 right now.
Oh, that's Tapology has him plus 110.
FanDuel right before this, he was plus 145. So money's moving towards Lima. The value side is probably Dos Santos because, like I said, he's definitely gonna throw more volume. I just think I'm gonna go with Lima to get his third win in the UFC. But and I'll say by decision because I don't see him knocking Dos Santos out. That boy tough. But in this next fight, we got, man, this fight don't even need broken down. We got Isaac Dulgarian versus Brendon Marotte. Isaac Dulgarian, man, super dominant wrestling.
Midwest chopper.
Super dominant wrestling. Dangerous ground and pound. I mean, stupid subs. Transitions.
Nasty.
I mean,
the pressure is insane.
Just super elite when it comes to being on the ground with this man. You don't want to be on the ground with this man. Once he gets you to the ground, he's gonna hold you there. Yeah. He's gonna make you pay. He's not just gonna lay and pray. You're gonna get beat the hell up on the ground. Right. Brendon Marotte, 0-1 in the UFC, coming off that KO loss to Terrence McKinney. I don't think Brendon Marotte's really UFC caliber type fighter. Isaac Dulgarian's 1-1 in the UFC, but he should be 2-0.
Should be.
Crazy
bitch ass.
Crazy decision in his last fight. Crazy scorecards in that fight. He definitely should have won. Sitting at a minus 1,800 favorite. So Vegas knows what the deal is here. Can't really make no money on it unless you target some type of prop. But, yeah, my pick's going to be Isaac Dulgarian. I think he gets him out of there in the first round, probably to some brutal ground and pound, sub, something in the first round. He going to get this boy out there quick. What you think?
Yeah. I'm biased as hell, honestly, because I've been a big Isaac Dulgarian fan really since he came into the UFC. He had a fight against Francis Marshall that
don't even mention, man. That's my boy.
That he had a fight against Francis Marshall that he was, I think a plus
200,
plus 200.
It was something like that, plus 180, plus 200. I had a parlay rolling on Francis. He done broke my heart in that fight.
But Isaac came in just completely ragdolled him, and people had high hopes about Francis coming in that fight. And he just had a good fight recently, so it's like he's not a scrub. It just showed the level. But like Pat said, Isaac is a pressure-style wrestler. This man wrestled all growing up. He's got insane power once he grabs a hold of you. Big slams, good takedowns, good trips. He is relentless on that mat. He's going to make you regret. If you try to shoot on him and you somehow, some way get him on his back, he's going to scramble the fuck out of you. And before you know it, he's going to end up on your back, or he's going to have you flattened out, raining down. So, it's my dog, but Brendon, like Pat said, he's 0-1 in the UFC. He's a striker with, decent grappling too. He's light on his feet, moves around well, but he did get knocked out in 20 seconds against Terrence McKinney. So Terrence has big power, so I'm not really saying he's too much of a bum for that. He just got caught. But I'm biased. I'm riding with Isaac on this one. It's a no-brainer. I feel like he is going to get a hold of this kid and just completely cut through him like a warm knife through butter. It's not going to be an issue. I could see a first round, probably ground and pound finish. But if somehow, some way, this Brendon kid is New England tough and gets out of the first round, second round, I could see same shit. Him just getting dragged down, mauled on some Khabib shit, and finished in the second round.
And to add to that point as well, we did see Dulgarian gas out bad against C-Rod.
Yeah.
Which obviously this is not C-Rod, and C-Rod is super durable.
Right.
But if he can potentially last, we never know what that third round could look like. He might fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
But I don't see it happen. I'm with you on that. I definitely think he gets it done early.
All right, next fight. Ovid St. Is this all it's me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Ovid St. Preux versus Ryan Spann. Let me find that in my notes here. So OSP 15-12 in the UFC. This guy's a vet. He's fought everybody from DC to John Jones to Alexander Gustafsson to the new wave of Johnny Walkers and all the new fighters. He's a technical striker with okay power now. It used to be bigger, but he's getting older, so I feel like his power is slightly falling off. He's very low output, but if you let him land clean, he can hurt you. He's 6'3" with an 80-inch reach, so he's a big man. He's coming off that split decision win where he was getting pieced up early, but Kennedy gassed, and OSP just started racking up the little points from the jabs and the kicks and all that. Ryan Spann, also a big guy. He's 7-5 in the UFC. He's 6'5" with a 79-inch reach, so he's giving up a little bit in reach, but he's going to be the taller fighter. Spann has big power in his hands with a solid wrestling base and background. He's on a 3-fight skid right now, and that's solely because his IQ and cardio is dog shit. It's like if he can't knock you out in the first, he starts to question himself and then ends up folding. Like he had Anthony Smith rocked multiple times in that first round and early in the second round of their last fight, and then just realized like, oh damn, I can't knock him out, and just got real timid, started backing up, was on the back foot a lot. This fight's a battle of the bums, if I'm being completely honest. OSP is way past his prime, and I don't even think Ryan Spann ever had a prime. He just knocked out a couple people. None of his UFC wins are against notable competition. My pick is going to be Spann just because of power in his hands, and I feel like OSP's chin and his age, I mean, they're starting to go. If you can catch his chin, you're going to knock him out. But it's like if you can't get that, or you don't have that dog in you to walk forward and try to find that finish, he's going to piece you up. So if he doesn't get that knockout, I could see OSP winning a fucking decision, or Ryan Spann just getting tired, folding, and curling up. But my pick is going to be Ryan Spann by knockout. But I'm not betting this fight at all. It's a trap either way. It's just not going to be a fight that you're going to feel good about, especially with Ryan Spann on Tapology a minus 300. So I'm good on that. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same side. I just feel like OSP he's sticking around too damn long. He's like 40 years old, 41. He's 41 years old, I think.
41.
Super low volume striking. Is coming off that split decision win against Kennedy and Zetchekwu, which is a decent win, but like you said, Kennedy just kind of gassed. Yeah. And OSP don't really throw enough to make himself gas. He's super low volume.
Counter striker for sure.
Yeah, just sits back, kind of wants to find them counters. Ryan Spann, like you said, 3-fight losing streak. Power in his hands, dangerous subs. He's super dangerous early. He is going to be 8 years younger, so he's got the youth on his side. I just think he has more finishing upside in this fight. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Ryan Spann, and if he doesn't get a finish, I could see him winning the first 2 rounds, just doing more than OSP does, and getting a boring decision. But I'm gonna call Ryan Spann to get like a first round KO or first round sub, one of the two.
So Rongzhu, Chris Padilla.
We got Rongzhu sitting at minus 265. Road to UFC guy, man. All these road to UFC guys, they just trying to fill in the roster at this point. Yeah. He actually went 1-2. He's been in the UFC. He went 1-2 in the UFC 2021 through 2022. Then got cut and just got some more wins. Now they're giving him another shot on the road to UFC. Power in his hands with 14 KO wins, so super explosive. Chris Padilla 1-0 in the UFC, sitting at a plus 200 dog, coming off that sub win against James Lontop in his debut. Good pressure, mixes in takedowns well, decent all around fighter. He's durable. Rongzhu is susceptible to getting subbed. He puts himself in bad positions to get subbed sometimes. 4 out of his 5 losses are by sub, so it seems like that's the way he likes to lose. Has had trouble making 155 in the past. I think that was probably part of the reason he got cut in 2021, 2022, because I think he missed weight like twice in 2 fights.
Yeah.
But also means he's big for the weight class.
He's a big guy, 5'9".
Yeah, definitely big. Probably
Both
gonna
of
be
them
the
are 5'9".
probably gonna be the bigger, more physical guy than Chris Padilla. I sitting at minus 265. I think he wins the fight, but I think value wise, if you're gonna bet it, I don't see him like minus. I don't see him 75%, 70% to win this fight. I would line him maybe like 60-40. So if I was to bet it, I'm gonna go Chris Padilla, potentially Chris Padilla by sub if you're getting a juicy line on that, because I do think Chris Padilla can win this fight, but ultimately I'm gonna pick Rongzhu to win it. Just think he's more, like I said, more physical guy, and can mix it up just like Chris Padilla can. Just maybe touch him with powerful stuff on the feet and just win a decision. What do you think?
Yeah. Rongzhu, he's 25-5 as a pro at only 24 years old, which just goes back to what we were talking about earlier about these guys having
a lot of fights,
crazy amount of pro fights. That's not even, imagine the amateur fights. If he's got that many pro, this man didn't just jump right in. Like, he had some amateur fights. But he's coming off the road to the UFC where he won all 3 of his fights, by KO, decision, and sub. So he's very well rounded. He's very heavy-handed with a decent chin. 14 knockouts and 7 subs from this guy. So, I mean, he can finish a fight. This is his second shot in the UFC. Like Pat said, he went 1-2 the first time. Did miss weight, and that's also kind of like the ass end of like the COVID era of UFC. So they probably just didn't feel like trying to, fool with a fighter that lives on the other side of the world, so that's missing weight all the time. Chris 14-6, coming off his win where he was a plus 390 dog in his UFC debut and won that fight. He's pretty well rounded. He's good striking, good ground game. Not really dominant anywhere, but he does seem to have really good fight IQ. If he's having trouble closing the range, he'll try to clinch with his opponent against the fence. He'll try to do some damage there. He'll try to, just apply that pressure to get them backed up to that fence where he has the option to, try to engage in the grappling. He does have good trips from there, good tosses. He's very active with his hip control and top control. Picking this one's tricky just because there isn't much tape to go off of. It's hard to judge someone's skill based off their regional scene experience. I'm going to pick Rongzhu in this just based off his power and how tough he is, but I'm not going to bet it. And I'm not really super, 100% stamping the confidence in the pick, but just based off what I've seen, I think Rongzhu has, the more finishing ability and is more dangerous. So the next fight on the card, we got the main card opener. So if you guys haven't already, please drop us a like on the video. Helps with the algorithm. Leave us a little comment, even if you have nothing to say. Just drop a little, a little emoji or something in there.
Tell us who you like, man. Drop a dog you like. Hit the subscribe button too.
So we got Trevor Peak versus Yanal Ashmouz. I need to find it real quick. Trevor Peak's a dog. While I'm looking for these, I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Trevor Peak is 9-2. He's 2-2 in the UFC. He's a literal dog. You have to shoot this man to finish him. He is insanely tough with a big ass chin on him. Damn near a center block for a head. He's a pressure forward style fighter where he just throws bombs at you and has big power. Has absolutely no technique at all. He just marches forward throwing whatever he can, even if it's standing sideways hammer fist. He's coming at you literally with big blocks. He'll use his hands, his forearms, his knees. He'll use his calves if he has to. Like, he's going to hit you with whatever he has, his toes. He's fighting Yanal Ashmouz, who's 7-1, 1-1 in the UFC. He's also a striker with big power. He's got a decent ground game too, which he'll fall back on if he needs to, but he prefers to keep it on the feet if he can. He's a grinder type, but can be low output while he waits on his shots. He knocked out Sam Patterson as a plus 225 underdog, but lost a close fight to Chris Duncan his last time out. So this fight is going to be close for me to pick. I think Yanal is better, more well-rounded fighter, but Trevor Peak is going to be the more aggressive fighter, and and he's going to have more of that dog in him. Because, like I said, you literally have to kill this man to get him out of there. He's going to keep coming forward unless you disconnect him from reality. His constant pressure can break fighters and wear them out, but Trevor does leave himself open to be cracked. He gets hit a lot. So my pick is going to be Yanal. I'm not betting it. It's going to be too risky, but I'm going to go probably by decision. What do you think?
Shit, I'm on the same side. I pretty much agree with everything you said. I think Yanal Ashmouz is going to be the more technical fighter. Trevor Peak, like you said, not technical at all. He's just going to run forward, throw standing hammer fist at you. We'll try to mix in the wrestling at times, just kind of pressures forward and throws whatever the fuck he can at you to make you uncomfortable. Like this is going to be a bar fight, in my opinion.
Insane.
Super
main card opener.
Yeah, super durable. Ashmouz KO'd Sam Patterson flat in his debut, so it definitely has that one knockout power. To add to that Chris Duncan fight, he did lose that decision, but he broke his arm in that first round.
Yeah,
and fought the next 2 rounds. So he's got some dog in him. I'm not exactly sure how it got broke.
He blocked a kick, a body shot.
Yeah, it was something like that. Literally snapped in half. And he fought, another 10 minutes with one arm. So he's definitely tough as well and has that dog in him. And just like you said, he's just going to be the more technical fighter. So, and at dog money, you're getting him at plus 102 right now. The line's kind of moving towards peak. So, yeah, I definitely like Yanal Ashmouz in this fight. And I'll take him to win the decision. In the next fight, we got Matt Schnell. Sitting at plus 360.
It's going to be another banger fight.
Yeah, good fight. 6-6 in the UFC against Alessandro Costa. 2-2 in the UFC. That line done been juiced to minus 530. I think he opened like minus 350 or something, minus 300. So a lot of people liking that line. I'm not too sure why they have it juiced that too. I think that's just too much.
I think they're fading Matt Schnell's chin.
Yeah.
Fading that.
Which he is. Matt Schnell is coming off 2 KO losses. He's a well-rounded fighter, but just seems to be having some durability issues lately. Is 34 years old, so it's kind of like how many miles he got left in this tank. I think his last 4 fights, he's been finished. That Sumadarji fight, he got the win in, but he damn near got finished.
He got dropped 11 times.
He got beat the fuck up in that fight.
Crazy.
He showed some dog, came back and got the sub, but it's like this man's been taking too much damage in his last few fights. Just super hittable on the feet. And Alessandro Costa, physical, well-rounded, on the feet, on the ground, has KO power, super good grappling, trains with your boy Diego Lopez.
Hey,
the
dog
coming out of a great camp. Only losses by him in the UFC are to high-level competition and Steve Erceg and Amir Albazi. So Steve Erceg just fought for the title, and then Amir Albazi is going to be fighting for the title very soon. So very respectable losses. I don't agree with the line, but I kind of agree with the line. I think Alessandro Costa should have this fight covered wherever it goes. I think he's going to be the better guy on the feet. I think if it goes to the ground, he has it covered there. And ultimately, I think he's going to finish Matt Schnell probably in the first or second round. If not a standing KO, maybe a ground and pound type KO. Just gets on top and makes him wear some damage. So, yeah, give me Alessandro Costa by KO in the first or second round. What you think?
Yeah, I'm not going to waste too much time on this because Pat pretty much covered. Matt Schnell, he's a dog. He's got a ton of heart. That heart don't match his chin. That chin does not match that heart at all. Tries to hang in there. Steve Erceg knocked him out with that clean, just check left hook in the pocket that fucking melted him. And it's like Matt Schnell was, looking decent. He didn't really land anything before that, but he's well-rounded. He's got nice combinations. He's got power in his hands. Like, he's got good slick boxing. He's got a good ground game. Like, he's a pretty decent fighter. But, like we've said, that chin just is gone. Him getting knocked out so many times, it just makes you wonder, like, how many times is he going to lose now and get knocked out before the UFC just lets him go to protect him from himself? because Alessandro is fucking tough. Although he is 2-2 in the UFC, like Pat said, his only 2 losses, Amir Albazi and what was it? Steve Ursay? Yeah, Steve Ursay. And both of them title fighters. Albazi should have had a title fight by now, but he was hurt and had to be passed over. I'm pretty sure it's why Steve Ursay got his. But this matchup could be close just because Matt Schnell does have obviously way more experience. He is dangerous too. He's got fast hands, but I just feel like Costa is just, a more well-rounded fighter. He is going to be 4 inches shorter with a 3-inch reach disadvantage, but like I said, Matt Schnell is just, that chin is gone. And before I even saw these lines, I put in my notes that without looking at any lines, I'm assuming Costa is going to be a big favorite because Schnell getting knocked out and his chin seems to be gone. So, and he ends up being a -500, probably going to be even greater. So, give me Costa. I'm going to say by submission because I feel like he's going to rock Schnell and then just instantly jump on a neck, not mess around. Because Schnell, when he's dazed, just kind of like wobbles around, kind of, like a newborn baby deer or something. So, give me Costa by sub, but I could see a knockout also.
They trying to get that man a ranking too. Matt Schnell ranked 15 right now, so they trying to get Costa in that top 15.
Yeah,
get some new blood.
So the next fight is Kyle Nelson and Steve Garcia. So let me find that on here. This fight's going to be a banger, low key. Kyle is 16-5-1, 4-4 in the UFC. He's a grinder style fighter with okay striking. His hands aren't fast, but he does have sneaky power and is super tough. He's on a 3-fight win streak coming into this fight after his early stoppage win over Bill Algeo. Say it was early stoppage, but he did have Bill rocked and he had him stumbling all over the place. But, so regardless of if I think the ref stepped in there too soon and Bill was still trying to, hang in there, he did have him pretty hurt. So, he's well-rounded and, it might not seem like it if you're just looking at his record. But Steve Garcia, also 16-5. He's 5-2 in the UFC. He's a very good striker with really smooth boxing. He's got good fast hands, good power. He's on a 4-fight knockout win streak right now. 13 wins by knockout altogether. He has some good wins over people like Chefe Mariscal, Chase Hooper, and Sung-Woo Choi. He has good takedown defense. He has a good get-up game when he is taken down. He scrambles. He's just, mean machine. They call him mean machine for a reason. So this fight is closer than what it, may appear with Steve being a -175 favorite because Kyle is tough. Steve has been knocked out before and does get touched on the chin, which does worry me because Kyle does have power. But I think he moves better than Kyle. I think he's a cleaner striker and that he has more power. So I can see him catching Kyle in an exchange and putting him out. So give me Steve Garcia. I'm going to say by knockout, but I wouldn't be shocked if Kyle hangs in there and it's a 29-28 decision type thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Steve Garcia in this fight as well. It's hard to pick against Steve Garcia right now. That momentum's crazy coming off that 4-fight KO streak. Just seems like he's in his bag right now. Super aggressive, just gonna walk forward. Has power in his hands. Kyle Nelson, I would say, is more calculated. He's gonna sit back. He's gonna chomp at legs. He is durable himself, so I don't hate a decision play on Steve Garcia. I could see Kyle Nelson lasting that early onslaught that Steve's going to throw at him. Kyle Nelson coming off a 3-fight win streak, all 3 wins at +200 dog money. All 3 of them.
That's crazy.
So he's overcame the odds in his last 3 fights. Definitely not a bad dog. Was supposed to be fighting Calvin Kattar in this fight. Steve Garcia came in, saved the fight. It's not a super confident pick. I am gonna pick Steve Garcia, but I mean, I can definitely see a way that Kyle Nelson wins this fight. Just being tough and finding his shots as well. Just drawing it out, making it a close fight. But I'm not gonna pick against my boy Steve Garcia, man. He's on a roll. So give me Steve Garcia And I'll say by decision because Kyle Nelson is pretty tough.
He is.
Next fight we got Jessica Andrade.
Certified banger for the co-main event.
Hey, usually we not into those female fights, but this is a good female fight right here. We got Jessica Andrade sitting at a plus 215 underdog, 17-10 in the UFC against Natalia Silva, 5-0 in the UFC, sitting at minus 290 on the betting line. Natalia Silva, man, solid footwork, in and out, that Taekwondo type style. Definitely is going to be the better, more technical striker in this fight by a long shot.
Right.
I think super fast hands, snapping kicks. I mean, she's got about 8, 9, 10 different kicks that she throws.
She's fun to watch
with each leg. She likes to use that lead leg. She likes to use that back leg. Just super fast, never out of place. Super good takedown defense as well, because it's kind of hard to get to her with her footwork. Just super slick on the feet. Jessica Andrade is going to be more physical, probably more power in her hands. If she was to touch Natalia, may be able to get some grappling going. I think that's her path to a victory here, right. But I don't see her getting to Natalia Silva. I think Natalia Silva's footwork just too damn good. I think Jessica Andrade is going to try to close that distance, and she's going to be running into pink, and get touched up by some combinations. Yeah. She is tough as shit, so I don't think Natalia's going to finish her. So, yeah, give me Natalia Silva, and I think she wins a 30-27 decision against Jessica Andrade. What you think?
Yeah, I don't have much to add to it because I pretty much agree with what Pat was saying. Jessica Andrade is a little pit bull of a fighter. She's 17-10 in the UFC alone. So that's 27 fights in the UFC. She's been around. She's fought the who's who. She's tiny, but she's scrappy. She marches forward, throwing big, heavy, looping hooks. She is a black belt in BJJ. She does have a big bag of submissions, but her wrestling isn't all that great. She struggles to try to take people down. Once she has you down, she unloads a big ground and pound to either get a finish or for you to try to give up your back for her to, look for a sub. Natalia is 17-5, 5-0 in the UFC. Very well-rounded with 5 knockouts and 7 submissions. She has very good striking and really good wrestling, too. She's looked very impressive in her 5 fights in the UFC, winning her debut by decision against a tough and experienced Jasmine Jazz the Vicious. Really showed power in her kicks and punches. The next 2 fights, I don't even know what I was saying in my notes, honestly, but she's vicious with those kicks and her punches. Like Pat was saying, she's very good with her strikes. I'm not going to waste much time on it explaining that. I think Silva is one of the most exciting women's prospects to watch right now, just because she mixed it up so well. I think she's tough. I think she's smart enough to stay safe in this matchup. I think she's a better striker, has better wrestling. Jessica is more powerful. I'll give her that. But that don't mean shit when you're missing your shots. With, Jessica's 62-inch reach to Silva's 65-inch reach. Jessica's only 5'1". Silva's 5'4". She's going to have the size advantage, the striking ability. So give me Natalia Silva. I'm going to say by decision. But I could honestly see if Jessica Andrade tries to rush her, just desperate to close range and get a hold of her. I could see Silva snatching like a front choke or, some type of choke that Jessica is like shooting, getting sloppy with, trying to shoot a double or a single or something. So give me Natalia Silva.
That takedown defense at 91% too. She went fucking Jasmine Javicius went 0 for 6 trying to take Natalia down. So I think Jessica gonna have a hard time getting her down.
Tough. So the main event, we got Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady. Gilbert Burns is 15-7 in the UFC. My man has been around for a while. He is coming into this fight on a 2-loss skid, although he was beating Jaqueline Madalena and lost late in that fight. He was up on all 3 judges' scorecards, and with maybe a minute 10 left, Jack scrambled, did a crazy little back somersault out of, to escape back door. Got up, Gilbert got up, tired, went to shoot again. Jack threw a beautiful time knee, and it cracked Gilbert. He's a Gilbert is a decorated black belt in BJJ, has big power in his hands with a good mix of kicks and punches. He lost the fight to Bilal, but he tore his shoulder in the first round and then toughed it out for 4 more rounds, right? Dogged it out with a torn shoulder that he couldn't throw punches from for 4 more rounds against a aggressive pressure style wrestler. So he's got heart and he's tough. He's got good cardio, but does have poor striking defense and gets touched a lot by straight punches. And just he doesn't see him coming for some reason. He's fighting Sean Brady, who's 16-1, 6-1 in the UFC. He is a persistent chain wrestler with good pressure and excuse me, a slick submission game. His hands aren't the best, but he's got some snap in his punches. He did lose to Bilal by TKO in the second round, which is sad because Bilal doesn't finish anybody like that, especially not on the feet by knocking them out.
Is that Bilal's only finish in the UFC?
It's his only knockout for sure. I don't know if he has a submission somewhere, but like standing TKO like that, that's embarrassing. His hands aren't the best, but he's got some snap in his punches. He bounced back and dominated Kelvin Gastelum, but I don't consider that a big win because Kelvin Gastelum was coming back down to 170 for the first time, and he's just a small guy. Kelvin Gastelum's not what everybody thought he was. He does train at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Philly with a bunch of tough wrestlers. This fight's a weird one to predict because I feel like people are sleeping on Gilbert because he fought Bilal on short notice, got hurt, lost that round. He was up pretty much 2.5 rounds to JDM before catching that knee. I think Gilbert has a better striking. I think he's more dangerous with his subs. Sean will be stronger. He's going to have better wrestling, obviously. He'll definitely be better with the takedowns. But I think Gilbert can outlast it, outlast the early onslaught of wrestling pressure and really turn it on. I think he could honestly catch Sean in something. So I'm going to say Burns by decision, but I could see a TKO in there because Burns is like, I could see a finish. I won't say TKO. I could see a finish. So what do you think?
Damn, bro. It's pretty much damn near everything you said, bro. I got written in my notes.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns, like you said, I think he's going to be the better striker. He's going to be hard to grapple. Yeah. And that's what Sean Brady's going to want to do in this fight. Sean Brady probably is the better wrestler, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold Gilbert down if he gets him there. People were giving Gilbert a hard time off them losses, man. But like you said, he was injured against Bilal, still went the distance. Sean Brady got finished by Bilal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a champ. Sean Brady does have a sub bag, but I don't see him subbing Gilbert Burns. Sean Brady does have a slight reach advantage, but I don't think he's a super good striker. No. He does got some power in his hands, but I don't see him as like a super like pick you apart type striker.
One thing I will say though, that gym, that whole Gracie Philly gym, they do have good jabs. Like their fighters do work behind a good jab, and Gilbert is like very he's susceptible to jabs. Like that's Usman knocked him out with the jab pretty much.
Facts.
Hamza knocked him down with the jab too.
The only really thing that worries me, I am on the Gilbert Burns side as well. I do like the plus 145 dog money on Gilbert in this fight. The only thing that worries me is like the age gap.
Right.
He is 38 years old.
Oh, yeah, he's up there.
Sean Brady's 31.
Right.
So more the fresher fighter, more youth on his side. Gilbert might be on a decline, but I got to go with Gilbert in this fight. I just think he kind of has Sean covered everywhere the fight goes.
I think so.
And my pick's gonna be Gilbert Burns as well. So I think it's a decent fight night card, man.
Right. I think honestly that main event, I feel like it's going to be a fun one to watch just because of the scrambles. I hate when there's a lay and pray style wrestling where they just don't do shit from top like Bilal. They just kind of lay there and try to hold position or whatever. But Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady, I feel like this is going to be crazy scrambles, dipping out of submissions, backdoor escapes, just wild shit. And don't forget, Gilbert's got power in them hands too. So I feel like if Sean's getting a little big for his britches, thinking, oh yeah, I'm the shit, I'm the man, I can strike with this man, you can catch one of those big hooks and then just put him out.
Facts. I mean, decent matchups all around on this card. I think we got a good main card, a couple decent matchups on the prelims, some decent betting spots. Hopefully we can get a parlay together.
Hey, that Trevor
make some money.
In Yanal Ashmouz, that might be the fight of the night because that's just going to be a dog fight.
Bro, that's a brawl right there. That's a bar fight. But Man, we appreciate y'all stepping in and watching the 12th official episode of the Split Decisions podcast. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Justin.
And y'all enjoy them fights, man. Go hit some bets. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, man. Comment who you like, who you picking, what dogs you might like.
Next video will be Noche, UFC Noche.
Big pay-per-view card. Big pay-per-view card, Sphere card. Dana hyping it up like it's supposed to be the biggest show of the all time.
Yeah,
so
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so and we'll be back next week. So we'll see y'all then.
Yep, see y'all next week.